Okay, I'd like to call to order the Town of Woodstock Village Trustees meeting of October 9th, 2018 at 7:01 or 2 p.m. And we'll start with any citizens' comments, if there are any. And comments, we'll move along to additions to deletions from the agenda. Prospect Street grant finalization. Should we take this up now, Paul?
If you like.
I might as well. So this has to do with the request for reimbursement,
Yeah.
and so we simply need to
The work is done, you're saying that the work is done, those are the bids.
right. So we're submitting this and then to the village because it's in the village, but it's going to the town.
Yes. The town will end up paying the local share of the $7,486.
And the state will pay the balance.
$30,000. give or take.
Yeah, and that's just Prospect Street or Church Hill, as some people would call that area. So all we need to do is pass, is there an original, Beth, that we're supposed to sign? Should we do that at the end of the meeting?
Sounds good.
Okay, and
Do you want a motion now to accept this?
I'll make a motion to accept the request for reimbursement for grant money for the work done on Prospect Street.
a second?
Second.
Second from Kerry. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right. Request for permits, I see none. This is unusual, but move over to our police chief's report, and I see that we have a new member of our police force.
Returning.
A newly returned
Today's my
member.
first day back, so.
Yes, welcome back.
Thank you.
You feeling good?
Feeling good.
Great.
Feeling good.
Wonderful. Glad to hear that you're all healed.
So, starting out, so last week was Child Safety Seat Week, and Dispatch Supervisor Terrian did a number of car safety seat checks and installs for people from the public that.
So people did respond to
Yeah,
that?
they
About-
did.
About how many, would you say? Do you have
I know
any
I saw
idea?
at least one, and the note is several, so
Several.
I would say 3.
Okay. Well, that's good.
October is anti-bullying month, and so Chief Bush met with the first graders at the Woodstock Elementary School to provide anti-bullying instruction, and we'll meet with them one more time this month.
That's great.
We attended a training at the Woodstock Inn on the new marijuana laws that went into effect on July 1st.
And half the town was like constantly wondering,
Why is there 80?
what's going on? The entire village green is filled with police cars.
Every space on the green is a police card. I don't know why.
And I just want to know if people were putting money in their meters.
I don't think they did.
Yeah, see? I don't know about that.
I should go right and take a book.
Okay.
We're getting the new cruiser fitted as we speak with equipment install, and should get that back next week. And then have it up and running as soon as we get it back.
Great.
It's already registered and insured. We've got the speed cart on High Street, and seems to be getting positive responses. I think its next destination is Tassville somewhere, was the request.
Where's it going to go in Tassville?
I think it was the area of anything printed.
Oh, on Route 4.
Yeah, I think right on Route 4, if I understood that conversation correctly. Michelle Sutherland has been with us for 33 years with the Woodstock Village Police, so we want to congratulate her
Absolutely.
on a long time there. So the meters we got, so September was $12,454.70 for total revenue, and 34.53 of that was credit card transaction.
34%.
Percent. So roughly a third of the transactions are
And how did that compare to September 2017?
September of 17, I don't have those,
Oh,
but I'm guessing in line.
Empirically, they seem to be getting more popular.
Yeah, I
yeah.
think the credit card transaction we'll see become more and more.
And what was the, how many of our meters were working in September? Do we have any idea?
I don't know if there's an official number. The IPS did send up a rep that did a training with Terry, Harold, Jim Otranto sat in on it, and Tim McGuire.
So did some of the
So they're-
various meters on Michelle's desk get?
So they've identified, I think the major problem is with the batteries. The solar is not strong enough. We've got the shade from buildings, shade from trees, snow cover. So it's overstressing the batteries that are in there. I don't remember what the official solution is, but there was a recommendation, I think, to improve the batteries, to get different batteries or to get a battery charger so we can swap them out more often without paying for buying new batteries and without paying for repairs.
Yeah, yeah, that seems to be the major problem.
Yeah.
It's the solar charging.
Because they don't keep up, and then they don't work, and then we're paying $80 for a repair that we
Yeah.
otherwise wouldn't have to, I think. So, I think. So yeah, we've placed an order for 25 new batteries. I guess they're $30 each, and then we're seeking a battery charger that's estimated at $2,500.
Wow.
Do you know if the chief found out the contract stipulations with it?
We're in the contract for 3 years.
That's what I.
3 years, so.
Yeah, so
This
we're
is-
1 year into it. If I,
Year
or a
and a
little bit
half.
more.
Year and a half
Yeah.
at least. It was February, I
Yeah,
think.
okay, so about a year and a half into it. So we have about 18 months left then.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think that's all I have for today, right now.
That's it. Any other things, DUIs, anything unusual in September?
It's been a very busy Columbus Day weekend,
Right.
and
Left-hand
this
turn
week is
down.
not seeming to be any quieter. Monday and Tuesday are our examples, but no specific
Nothing unusual.
no specific statistics or anything unusual to report.
All right, great. Any other questions? Thank you very much, and welcome back to the force.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's good to be back.
That's great. All right, so let's move on to our village manager's report. Phil?
Yeah, I still do not have good news to report about the installation of the new lighting around the green. The final piece is the cost of installing them. So one of the expenses is to relocate the poles, adding 4 poles, actually 6 poles in total around the entire green. So a lot of the project is excavation, concrete, and an electrician. So hopefully, we may know something later this week.
Has the EDC set a meeting yet?
They're going to meet on Thursday, and they plan to meet by phone.
By phone.
Because I was on
How
the
does the
on the north-
public participate in a phone meeting?
Well,
Wait.
that's how they could get enough quorum together to make a decision.
So if someone in the public was interested in talking with the EDC or discussing that, they could find out how to get in on that joint phone call?
I'll look
perhaps?
into that, Jeff, but I guess if I was going to recommend anybody, call Charlie Kimball at home, he's co-chair.
Because there was like 4 of them like out when you're driving on the northbound side of the green. It's really dark over there.
We finally got in 2, so those are village-owned, community-owned lights. And they're gone bad.
Yeah.
50 years old.
Well, they've gone bad, and we've got all these beautiful lights in the barn, and we're just short a little bit of money, and here's hoping that the EDC folks will want to put up the little amount that's left.
What is the shortage exactly?
Call it $17,800.
Compared to the total cost of the project of
$65,000.
$65,000 is where it turned out to be. Let's hope that the EDC members make good use of their funds that they've collected from our taxes. Yes.
My question, I'm really frustrated that they're going to meet by phone, because I certainly would participate in that, because I've been to all of those meetings, as has Ray, about the lighting around the green. And I hope that there's maybe someone from the trustees that'll participate.
I'm certainly, I intend to participate. I need to call Charlie Kimball. You're welcome to call him as well.
I will.
More.
Send him out.
It's a public meeting.
A very difficult public meeting.
Yes. So let's find out how we can participate.
How many people do they need for a quorum? 5?
I'm not sure how many are.
Well, if there's 9 people, you just need a
If it's
majority.
9, then it would be 5.
And they,
Now, if they voted to give us the money, do
Yeah.
you think it would still be possible for us to have these by Thanksgiving?
I think it's likely,
It's likely. Okay, well, let's urge them to do that.
very likely.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
I went up with the electrician to the Kelly barn and looked at the poles, they will also have an outlet in the base for plugging in lights around the green and other things.
That's great. For Pentango's Affairs and all the other, and the Chamber of Commerce and other, that's wonderful.
yeah.
So anything else, Phil?
Oh, Beth.
Not on that.
Okay.
Beth.
Could I just ask, so the lights with the plugs at the bottom, are they part of the chamber's electric bill, or are they managed by the village?
That should be, that's the village, because those lights.
Well, I'll look into that, see.
Because
They'll be
Chamber
wired,
pays the bill for the green.
they will be wired exactly as the street lights, which is paid by the village.
Right,
Okay.
so it would be on the village if you plug into
Yeah.
those.
No, I'm glad you asked, it's always good to clarify, but yes, there are invoices come every month from the power company for street lights on the green. And these are those same wires.
Yeah. So,
So then well, I guess that's all it is.
that's all it is. Anything else?
Is there a financial?
We don't have a financial
No, we
report
don't.
this week,
Sorry.
but there's nothing,
Yeah, things are going along very well. There's no surprises.
yeah, okay. All right, let's move on. Thank you, Phil. Let's move on to old business. We just had an update on lighting on the green, and now considering location for the white church with Christmas music on the brick patio behind the bulletin board. Is there anyone to speak to that?
Only that I got a phone call from the gentleman who repaired it, said that they found a spot on the triangle behind the chalkboard. And the Historical Society was happy with it. Hope the trustees would be also.
We should find a way to put it where the old pie building was, on that grass. It would stay protected.
The what?
Where pie was. Talk to the landlord. It would fill that spot with something interesting.
Hadn't thought of that.
It is on property owned by the History Center.
Yeah, it's one of the
History Center is-
locations we suggested that
Yeah.
they find a home for.
I just thought about that now, so that's why I opened my mouth, but that would be actually kind of cool. It would stay protected behind the fencing.
The fencing's leaving
Yeah.
in November.
Oh,
Good to know.
Yeah,
Yeah, I thought Dennis Wright would be here. He's been the spearhead behind this whole thing. By the way, Bob Hager, I think I know everybody except Ms. Cole. Hi, how are you? Dennis did a great job of finding this church, but I grew up with it when I was a kid here in the 50s. That was a fixture downtown, hanging out over the old Woodstock Electric, and it really was part of the village, so I'm all for it, and it's very nostalgic for me, and I think it would be for a lot of my generation. For Christmas time. So I hope you do it. I like the downtown location. I'd rather see it down in the middle there, where they're talking about. I think it's near the bulletin board.
Yeah.
Maybe is what. Yeah. That's what I'd like to see. That being more central than the Pies location.
Well, Bob, that's one of the locations this board suggested as being a good one for.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah. Well, good. Anyway, I hope you make it possible.
Yeah, well, it's on private property, and we have no objections to it being in that location.
That's the important thing. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for coming. Okay, let's move on to new business, the paving project, Vermont Trans 2020.
So I think they have a little thing in your packet. It's encouraging about all our numbered state highways in the village being repaved in 2020. So they're in the planning stages now. Provided the legislature continues to fund projects that are in the queue and fund this, we're looking at 2020 for construction.
I think they'll finish before 10/1.
If, yeah. Yeah, they kind of have to.
Is the MME mile marker?
Yes. So I know that I've been told by the folks at ALT that for years, and I've been reporting 2020 is our best hope. It's our soonest hope. And this is, it's in writing now. Again,
Good, the ball is rolling.
it's still
Thank you.
our best hope.
Good, nice to see that starting to pick up some
And it'll be
steam.
12, 106, and 4.
Right, and it's for the 1,400 and something feet they mentioned there, 1,495 feet. Is that our boundary on 4 from our,
Isn't that
1.495
1.495 miles?
is that what it is? That's why I'm wondering what the heck that
That's
is.
not
That's
feet.
1 point.
Okay, it doesn't say miles.
Right.
But that's the difference in miles.
Okay. So that's from our 2 boundaries?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
And they're going to be paving in addition to that on the outside of those boundaries as well?
This is a standalone project.
Okay. Well, this is our involvement, but they're going to be paving for,
I doubt it.
okay.
Time is up in the queue.
Sounds good.
Yeah, real good news.
That's great.
Thank you.
So let's move on to the electric vehicle grant program. We have 2 stations right now. How much are they being utilized?
I notice vehicles pretty regularly there, but I don't know if it's in the
In your report?
numbers by space. I could probably have Michelle pull them.
That'd be great.
It'd be nice to know. I drive by, I've rarely seen them being used.
I see
But
probably like 10 a week.
10 a week. So you'd say then that these 2 are more than sufficient at this time?
I don't think we need any more.
Okay.
I think these will handle the growth that we'll see as EVs become more popular.
For a while, it sounds like.
I wouldn't see EVs being much more than that in the next 5 years, but I think it's good to have what we have, and what we have can handle the capacity, so.
But is there more grant money just sitting somewhere that we could be
No, I
taking
don't,
You
advantage
could
of?
tap into some 75% money. The downside
Is
is
it
you give
25%?
up a parking space.
Right.
So it's, you
Yeah.
have a parking space sitting there waiting for an EV.
Do you think there's a need for one on the western side of town? I know that's outside of the village, but
Like, by White Cottage, you mean, or?
no, further along, I'd say closer to the Bridgewater. Line.
I think if anybody
I know
is,
it's, yeah.
I think if anybody is in need of a charger,
Mhm.
they could plan, that's in the region, would be able to plan well enough.
Yeah, there's nothing to do there. Well, you
Well, I was
want-
thinking one of the spaces that would be like where the chamber building is. That would seem like if you were gonna do it, a localized spot to have one.
Well, those are
for-
premium parking
Yeah.
spaces.
I'm not saying that it's a good spot, I would just think that if we were gonna do one, it would be something within the confines of the village, but not shown on the street.
And I think it's one of the advantages also is having them in that, all that great parking
I
in
think,
the west end.
I think it works out well, because it's not taking up otherwise metered spaces that we're losing, the ability to park in, and, but it is, there and available. It's got walking to hotels and Max Market and right in downtown, so I think for what we have right now, I think it's sufficient.
Beth?
Well, the Woodstock Inn has one, and I know that there are at least a B&B near my house in Barnard that has a grant from Tesla, and they have a Tesla and a alternative. So, and I don't know if there are any B&Bs out in West Woodstock that do, but there might, because that was a program
That's-
available to.
That's the program we tapped into, and I think the inn is Tesla only.
That's only. That's good.
But the Maple Leaf has both, and got a grant for that, so.
I didn't know they
had it, that's really
You
cool.
know, unless other trustees think we should, I would say that at this time, we should not apply for a grant, because the
Then we'd have
demand
to pay
doesn't seem to be
25%.
there, and we have to put in 25%, and we lose a parking space, so, and unless people have been coming in to our village manager and saying, we need more,
Not hearing
and we're
that.
not hearing that.
Right, and a lot of people have those chargers at their homes if they have the EV vehicle, so they don't, it's not really, yeah, I guess you guys have heard, or you've heard, I agree. It's not necessary to move forward.
Well, then we don't need a motion, we're just not
No,
going to
just
do
won't
it.
We're just not gonna do
We're just
anything.
not going to
You
apply.
know, there'll always be programs.
Okay,
Time comes to look on it.
moving along, Patrick Fultz, there you are, sir, come join us.
Hello, everybody.
Hello. So you are interested in joining our planning commission?
Yes.
You have a really nice resume, I must say.
Graphic designer, what can I say?
Yeah, no,
Looks
it's,
pretty. Part of what I do.
yeah.
Unfortunately, it tends to be a problem at times. I can never let anything go without it looking good.
Uh-huh. And so what made you interested in our planning commission in Woodstock?
Well, my wife and I purchased what used to be the Okwuchi Motor Lodge 5 years ago and renovated it, and we're doing great, having a fun time. And we've run into some bumps and stuff with things that have the different permitting and so forth. So, one of the things I wanted to do is get on the planning board and understand more what's going on and bring a different vision to it, to see if we can look at some things to help businesses a little bit more. I've talked to a lot of the business people around, and everyone struggles with the same kinds of issues. So I was hoping to get on, understand more of what's going on, and see if I can bring some of that business side to the board.
Right. So let's say you had free reign on the board.
Yeah.
What is it you would want to change?
I would want to look at things that help businesses promote themselves a little better. It seems like every time you try to do something, you run into a wall, and that you have to try to find some way to scale or give up, depending on what it is that you're doing. Simple things, I definitely would want to look a little bit at the signage issue. A lot of us struggle with that. and not to change what Woodstock is like, because it's beautiful, and I'm not talking about changing that type of stuff, but I would want to look at that side of the world and understand a little bit more how we can help businesses in Woodstock. Because the more we help them, the better off they're going to be. And from my experience with the chamber and stuff, I know and being a lodging person, downtown tends to be 5 o'clock, it shuts down, and I get a lot of guests coming in going, is anything open? And, so just little things to see what we can do to help businesses.
But how does the planning commission have anything to do with that, when businesses choose to be open or closed? I'm just curious.
See ways that we can make it easier for them to stay open longer, or look at ways that, I'm not quite sure how we'd approach that. Again, I don't fully understand the whole scope of where the planning commission was in, but I want to understand more and see how I can bring just a different perspective to it. I've got an advertising background, and the key thing when you're in advertising, you have to look at things differently. So I just want to bring a different perspective to things. Again, not that I would want to change what Woodstock is like, because the reason I'm here is because Woodstock's such a wonderful place. I mean, we followed my wife's sister, visiting her, and we just totally fell in love with it and decided to buy a house here. We ended up buying a motel. That's a long story. But we're very happy doing it. Now we bought the restaurant next door. And, it just, there's a lot of things I think can be looked at a little bit differently and just bring a different perspective to the group from the business owner side.
Okay.
Are there any local business owners on that commission?
Terry might speak to that.
Gosh, I rolled off a while ago, but is Michael Malik sitting on the board?
I think so.
I think he might be the only local business owner.
Are you familiar with the town and village plan?
No. Is there somewhere I could go see that?
Yes. I would recommend that.
Right, because I was going to say, what is the goal of the planning commission? Like, what is their, we
The planning
oversee.
commission is, writes the
Writes the regulations.
Regulations. Basically.
And so, when I sit on the VDRB, and we're seeing lots of requests for X, and our ordinances are insufficient, then we might make a proposal to the planning commission to address those. The planning commission is as nimble as is possible with the kinds of timelines
They
for
really are.
review that we need to be. So, a change takes, months and months, but that's what the planning commission does.
Thank you.
And it can be fairly mind-numbing, and they also work on, zoning, and, you have to really consider how do we avoid spot zoning, but how do we allow for the kind of growth that makes sense, and how do we ensure that we're not sort of opening the door for whatever imagined horrible coming down the pipe.
And new plans are presented every 5 years?
5 years.
Every 5 years, but the rewrite process is constant.
Yes, right. And then that does get approved by both boards.
Both trustees and the select board. And once you approve it, you don't have any more say. Planning commission doesn't have any more say. It all comes to the development review boards. They're the only ones that gets to interpret the rules.
What year are we in that process? Are we year 1, year 5?
It's ongoing. They pass a plan and they start rewriting
We
it.
passed the
believe
plan
you-
last year, didn't we, or something?
Well,
I call
you-
Michael Brandt and ask him.
You
what they are
approved,
and what's-
we just approved several changes, so it's an ongoing process, and I think every 5 years or so, they try to have a new draft of the whole plan.
Right.
But,
That
we've
incorporates the changes that have
we've
occurred.
made several changes, constantly.
Thanks.
Right.
Yeah, I'm sure it's a moving target constantly. Like, would you ever thought that you would have charging stations for cars?
No, I didn't know that, but...
Or figuring out how to deal with food trucks.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right. Although neon signs and that sort of thing, and high signs and that are out of character with stock, we would hope the planning commission would present us with that kind of
Right.
change.
Well, you don't want to change the character, but you also have to look at it from the standpoint of how do you help businesses? And, So there are some things that I think that can be done that would not change the character of the village at all, or the town. And as Carrie said, it's not something that's going to happen overnight. It's stuff that you have to look at from all angles. You know, and it can't be one-sided, it's got to be full view.
So, any other, and you have the time
Yes.
to invest in this?
Now that my wife is here full-time, absolutely.
Okay. Any other questions for Patrick? Should, so is this something where we need a motion, Phil?
Yes.
We need a motion.
Will also into.
Well,
Motion and
who's-
discussion.
And we also have, what's this with?
No, he's not, Benjir,
Oh,
he has
sorry.
withdrawn his application. So it's just Patrick tonight, and entertain a motion.
I'd make a motion to allow Patrick Foltz to take a position, the open position on the planning commission.
A second.
Second. So is there further discussion? If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None? Patrick, welcome, and thank
So
you.
that's
Thank you.
the village portion.
That's the village portion,
Now
you
you
still have to be
Select
approved
board
by the
members, it's a
select
joint
board.
appointment.
How many
Yes.
years is this appointment?
It would depend on whose slot. he's
Whose
filling.
slot it is.
Mike
Do you know
can
that?
ask
Yeah,
I don't know
Nope.
which
Oh.
slot that wasn't, it's not anywhere that I know of.
Okay.
right, so you're okay with a 20-year commitment?
I keep
it was
telling my wife I'm
22.
gonna die in the motel, so.
All right. Well, so
Hopefully that's on your agenda.
So
No,
thank
no,
you.
that's fine.
The village,
She keeps saying if I die first, the for sale time's up the next day.
this board approves of your volunteer effort to join the committee. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Next step. Where are we?
Other business.
Other business. At this time, is there any other business to come before this board? The only thing I would ask is where we stand on, just, because I don't want to drop it, having our health officer look at the building that we are worried about in the village.
So I spoke to an attorney, because it's, the health officer, the health and safety laws that we would rely on are more complicated than. So the plan is to, when she has studied the ordinance, the state law, to meet with our health officer, the attorney, Susan Ford, either Robbie or one of his designees, and figure out how to go forward. I wouldn't want to send her in by herself. I wouldn't want, so I think that the approach of having an attorney explain what exactly you can do and be part of that process and have some police backup as part of that process.
That'd be great. And is it
I've
possible?
retained her, and she's doing the research, but we haven't put together the format to move it forward.
Well, if we can get that, hopefully in
So
the
that's the-
future, would it be possible for someone from this board to go along with that party to see the interior of that building?
I would like to, yes.
I would, I would like to be in that group
That would be
also.
interesting as well.
Yeah, so,
Is it possible to contact the law school to find out if some students want to do some of the research for this as part of their resume?
When I haven't used the law school, I have used the Tuck Business School, and you have to put a proposal in about a year ahead of time, and it takes you end up hiring an entire team of people who work on a big project, not
not to one small.
Not just one, that's what I'm saying, is that maybe
I don't
Vermont
know.
Law School, maybe there is something, but
They'd probably need to be supervised is the issue, and so you're probably still gonna have to pay someone who would be supervising them.
Well, hopefully, the way it's going, it will
I'll-
happen
I'll-
sometime in the near future.
yes, it should be.
That'd be great. Any other business that any other trustees would like to bring up tonight? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to approve minutes and then review expense warrants.
I think I was at the joint meeting, since I seconded some things.
Be a clear indicator, wouldn't it?
You're not included? No, you're not.
And then on the September 11th minutes, I'm Keri. Sorry, repeat.
So taking them one at a time, the joint meeting, any other changes?
No.
I saw no.
I'd make a motion to approve all three as edited.
Second?
Okay, and discussion?
Yes.
Yeah, I saw them too.
The September 25th meeting, I think that started more at 8:20, technically.
Oh, and more?
Yeah, I mean,
That's
was it?
true.
Yeah.
Oh, right, because we were waiting.
You're waiting for me to show up and adjourn.
And you forgot your phone at work.
That's coming to another meeting.
It was a very short.
There's some pages, Beth, there's one page where you just are getting tired, I think, grammatically, but the content is good, so I'm not gonna belabor it. Well, there's there are 3 or 4 on one page, just leaving off letters or ERs and so forth.
So you want to just pass it down to?
I can show it to you afterwards,
Yeah.
because it doesn't affect the content, so I have no problem with approving that. All right, all those in favor of approving the minutes as presented?
Well, as edited.
As edited.
As edited.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That passes. And I entertain a motion to adjourn following our review of the expense warrant, signing of the expense warrant.
So moved.
Second?
I'll second that.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Oh, do we have them
They're
for today?
approved.
Yes.
Aye.